Hi, my name is Beth, and I try to be a child's voice. I try to be very loud, and I try very hard to spread awareness of juvenile sex offenders and to keep smaller children safe. I am in Connecticut, and Connecticut laws suck really bad. Um, they protect the offender more than the victim. And although they say that the victims have rights, I'm I don't see it. I don't, I can't see how a, an offender doing a adult crime and not doing the adult time. So if an adult were to do a heinous crime, the punishment of that adult should be the same as a juvenile, except a juvenile should not be amongst adults. It's very, very easy to fix the system. I don't know why they don't. And I think a lot of times it's because they think it's the parents' fault, and it's not. It's actually it's Connecticut's fault because it is not your right to know who a juvenile sex offender is. So, say I'm working and I hire the girl after school to get my kids off the bus, get them in the house, start the homework, give them a snack. She could be a juvenile sex offender. I don't know. We're not allowed to know. So, like I said, Connecticut tries to make it like it's our fault that things happen, that we're not watching our children and so on and so forth, when in fact we're not allowed to know. So it's hard to keep your children safe if the actual people that we're putting our trust in to take care of our children are sex offenders. You're not allowed to know if your daughter or son is dating a juvenile sex offender. You're not allowed to know if they're hanging out with a juvenile sex offender, bringing them home while you have small children in your home. And these kids, these juveniles could be sleeping over because you got a 5:30 a.m. hockey game. Be a child's voice is very important. It needs to be spread around Connecticut. It needs to be spread far and wide. I say share away. Read up on it. See that I am telling you the truth. You don't know who your neighbor is. You're not allowed to know because they have rights. They have rights. But what about the victim? If you go into Be a Child's Voice and you look at the page, you'll see documentation about like the whole law of juvenile sex offenders. And I'm reading it and I'm reading it and I'm reading it because it's 27 pages of, you know, we're not seeing that there's reoffenders and you don't read about all this other stuff. Of course not. How can you when it's all behind closed doors? Everything is locked. You're not going to know. You are not going to know because everything is closed. So, say, this is Johnny, and Johnny is a juvenile sex offender, okay? So he gets in trouble. He gets, let's say, 2 months probation, okay? 2 months probation, okay? Now, once that 2-month probation period is over, and little Johnny didn't do anything wrong, and little Johnny didn't hurt any other children, he's free. But even when in that 2 months that he's on probation, I know I'm using a weird brush, I mean, it's whatever. But even while he's on his 2 months probation, guess what? He's allowed to go fishing trips. He's allowed to go hang out with the Boy Scouts. And he's also allowed to go to the trip to Six Flags. He's allowed to, I don't know, go to the community pool. He can do whatever he wants. Cruises, vacations. Okay? To me, that's not punishment. It's not fair. I don't care that Johnny is 14 years old and in high school, okay? I don't care. To me, if he does an adult crime, then he should do the adult time, and it should be done in a juvenile way. So, Johnny does the same thing as Jack. Let's get Jack. Where do we need to Jack? Here's Jack. This is Jack. He has committed the same exact crime as Johnny. Okay? He's getting 5 years in jail, and he's on the registry, the sex offender registry. So see, now to me, I think Johnny should get 5 years in a juvenile detention center, and he should be on a sex offender registry only through the police departments. So if a little girl's crying at the park that somebody hurt her and they punch in whatever, you know, the little girl was saying it was a big kid or whatever, and they can punch it in and see that Johnny lives right across the street, and then some guys say, well, Johnny was just right over there. Hello. If not, it's a big, huge thing, and by the time whatever happens, it's already out of the child's mind of what the person looks like and everything else. There's too much stuff that goes on, and it's wasted time. So, again, if Johnny does a adult act of sexual assault, just like Mr. Rock is an adult, and he gets 5 years in jail, and then so many probation or whatever, Johnny should get the same thing. I do not believe that just because he does an adult crime and he's paying for the adult time doesn't mean he has to be with adults. That's where all you legislation and all you law-making people fuck it all up. It's so easy to fix the problem. You have so many people that need jobs. You have all these freaking empty buildings. Start using them. Set them up. Make them work. You have beautiful stone buildings that were made for businesses, that were made for all kinds of shit. Start using them. Start using them. Make them into juvie centers, okay? And while they're in juvie doing their time, a good thing to know and a good thing to do is no commissary and no fun stuff. They have to do their schoolwork. They have to do chores. And the parents have to pay for them to be there. My name is Beth, and I'm here for Be a Child's Voice. And there's a lot more I would like to hit on with what I believe should be done and needs to be done. And I don't know how long my video is allowed to last. So I'm going to try this, and if it works, and like I said, if a child does go into the juvie for section for the juvenile sex offenders, then like I said, they get up in the morning, they do their chores, they take their shower, they go to school just like every other child. After school, they have their chores, they have dinner, they do their homework, go to bed. They can have visitation with their parents if they earn it. Stop covering up and stop saying it's because of this and because of that and because of this. Be a society that takes and stands up for what they've done wrong. If you've done something wrong, you did it. You did it, you fix it by this. You do what you have to do. You know you did something wrong, you admitted it, you broadcast it out. You did the time, you did the crime, do the time. That's what we need to do. Now, from what I was reading, a lot of what's in the juvie over here in New Haven, Connecticut, is runaways and kids that don't go to school. Really. We send juvenile sex offenders home to their mommy and daddies, but we take kids that run away from home and won't go to school and we put them in juvie. There's just a lot to think about, and it's not that hard to fix this problem. If you shoot somebody and you're charged, if you are charged as an adult because you did an adult crime, you should still be in a juvenile facility. So you have all your armed robbers and certain kind of offenses, and you have it in one section. And then, I mean, because you have all these fucking buildings that are completely empty doing nothing. You have homeless people begging at the bottom of freaking all these streets of the highway. I'm sorry, I had open heart surgery, so my mind sometimes stops. But nevertheless, I was sitting reading a mother's story, and it was horrifying. It was horrifying that this poor woman and her family are so distraught and broken, confused, lost, and the offender gets to go on as if it's another day and a holiday. So the only thing I ask is hit like, subscribe, share. Let's get talking about shit that really matters, okay? I mean, I get it with the immigration, and I get about the illegals, and everybody wants freedom and everything, you know, that great life. Well, you know, same shit that's happening there is happening here, and it's ridiculous. And all I can say is that I really wish I stole the book that I was reading of the lady's story, and it's horrific to just know that there are so many juvenile sex offenders living around me right now, and I can't know. There's juvenile sex offenders in school with my kid, and I'm not allowed to know. My daughter, who is in high school, can have friends that are juvenile sex offenders, could be dating a juvenile sex offender, could be a juvenile sex offender, and nobody's allowed to know. Doesn't make sense. Somebody needs to be a child's voice. People need to stand up, and people need to start spreading awareness. Like and share. That's all I'm asking. Let's get Connecticut where it needs to be, and everyone protecting Connecticut's children, because they're young and they need to be protected. And the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to protect them too. Thank you for listening, and I'm gonna be back because I am very loud.